Level up your LA Kings experience with the new Vivid Seats Elite Seats. All the on-ice Kings action with even more exclusive access. Enjoy great seats to the game along with premier dining inside the Lexus Club with all-you-can-eat food and non-alcoholic beverages. Plus, get a free Team LA Kings item and parking with your purchase. Score your Vivid Seats Elite Seats tickets today and earn rewards on each purchase from the only ticket company that rewards you for buying. Experience it live with Vivid Seats, the official partner of the LA Kings.
You're listening to an LA Kings podcast. For more episodes of this and every other Kings program, visit lakings.com/podcast.
You're listening to All the Kings Men, the official podcast of the LA Kings. Now, here's your host, Jesse Cohen.
All right, we are doing more player evaluations for the 2024-25 season. Joining me now, head coach of the Ontario Reign, Marco Sturm. How are you doing today, Marco?
Good. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. We're going to talk about...
You look good.
Well, thank you. All things considered, I'm doing pretty well.
Yes.
Starting to feel like a bit of a fraud, frankly, because I feel fine. We're going to talk about players that split time between the Kings and the Reign this year. So guys that you would have had a chance to, experience their play firsthand. We're going to start on the blue line. We're going to talk about Jacob Moverare because Jacob Moverare played 11 games in Ontario this year, 49 games in LA. And he's an interesting one because his skill set is very specific. He's never going to be a Drew Doughty replacement, but he can play the role that he's asked to play very well. How did he perform this year, in your opinion, based on who he is and what is expected of him?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. He kind of looks funny, right? Let's be honest. Just the way he moves around. But the thing what we like about him, and I think it took Jimmy and Smeedy a little bit longer because they just didn't know him, that he will get the job done, right? And again, he's so smart, and with his positioning and his stick detail, I think he covers a lot of ground. So for me, I thought he did an outstanding job this year with the Kings. It was not easy for him because he was with us for a while and he wasn't happy, right? Obviously, he wanted to be with the big boys. So it was a little bit of a challenge for him. And as soon as he got the call up there, he took advantage. And then right after that, I still remember when Jimmy said, I like him. I said, yeah, that's what that's just Mo for us. And he's, I think he's just a great number 6, number 7. I think he's a person you want on your team. The guys love him, right? He's a funny guy. He's a great guy. So again, and nothing really surprised me the way he played. You can throw him in anytime, anywhere. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, a lot of guys can't do that. But he is one of those guys, and that's why we need him, right? And I'm glad he did well.
He is a very nice guy. He's one of the few players in the organization that I would say I have like a personal relationship with. Like when I see him in the locker room, we talk about movies, and like I recommended a movie to him. He came up and found me the next time I was in there and he's like, oh, I watched it. It was incredible. So I like the kid, but he's a perfect test case for this idea that I'm sort of obsessed with, which is that we have this industry now where because kids are coming in and they're younger and they're getting more special coaching at younger ages and there's more, testing and analytics and whatever you want to call it. I remember speaking to somebody in the organization who watched him skate at a practice for less than 5 seconds. I mean, literally just saw him at practice and said, oh, that guy can't play. And I said, what are you talking about? He's great. I've seen him in Ontario. He's dynamite. I think it was 2 years ago that you had him out there to start overtime in game 1. I was game 3-on-3. I was like, and he's like, no, he can't skate. He looks silly and not silly, but he doesn't have the mechanics that you would expect. And yet his hockey IQ, and we've heard it from the scouting staff and the team that when they drafted him, his hockey IQ is so high and his work ethic and he does everything right that it really doesn't matter that he doesn't have the mechanics. So how long does it take? You mentioned when he goes up to play in LA and it's a new coaching staff and they have to learn, his strengths and his weaknesses. If you're a coach in 2025 in professional hockey and you have all these people telling you, well, these are the guy's strengths and these are the guy's weaknesses, and you know what to look for, how long does it take you to realize, oh, yes, this guy has deficiencies, but yes, this guy can play and he can overcome them?
Yeah, no, and no, it's a good question, but it's, like you said, you just mentioned practice, and I think practice is not enough. Like practice, like I see him too, and I would think the same thing, right? This guy, oh, he looks a little, like you said, different, but I think he is a guy, especially him. He's a guy you need to see in action, and that's when you notice as a coach, it's like, oh, okay. He never really gets into trouble and in trouble. He never really makes big mistakes. He doesn't turn the puck over, and he loves eating pucks, right? I mean, again, especially on PK. So he blocks a lot of shots and has a good stick. So then after the game, you're like, oh, actually, he's not bad, right? So you want to see him again. And the one thing what he has compared maybe to some others, he's always consistent. You always as a coach, you love that, right? Because you always gonna know what are you gonna get out of him, right? And again, those are the things I think coaches are looking for, and that's why a guy like Mo could become very, very important because you can throw him anywhere. And me personally, I don't have a problem when he even plays against McKinnon or Crosby. I really don't have a problem. Can he do it for 20 minutes? I don't know. But, I mean, he can cover, for sure, minute shifts without any trouble.
I got to say, I don't know how I avoided this phrase until a few years ago, but eating pucks has quickly become my favorite expression. And I don't think I heard it until, oh man, there was a college defenseman that the Reign picked up. I want to say 2 seasons ago. I'm blanking on his name. Inamoto, I think.
Yeah.
And before him, I had never heard the phrase eating pucks before. And I've totally fallen in love with it.
I love it.
The next offense we're going to talk about is Caleb Jones. Now, he only played 6 games with LA, but he was in Ontario for 44. And 6 games is a pretty small sample size, but I got to say, in those 6 games, he was way better than I thought he was going to be, and I liked him way more than I thought I was going to. I was not disappointed because obviously if he's in the lineup for LA, then things have gone wrong and you've had injuries and everything. But I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to see more of him because 6 games is such a small sample size. What did you see from him in Ontario?
Yeah, no, I mean, I knew him a little bit from the past. But again, he was up early with the Kings. Then he was hurt for a bit. So I was actually really excited just to get to know him as a person, also to have him on our team. And, right from day one, I thought he was tremendous for our team. He was just happy to play. And what I didn't notice, his last 3-4 years, actually, he was always an up and down guy. He was scratched a lot, so he never really played. And for him, you could see it. He was so excited. And it took him a little bit to get going because he was not used to playing 25 minutes every night. So, again, I think he was hoping to get more action up with the Kings. Unfortunately, he didn't. But for us in the minors, he was excellent. He was a good leader. His skating ability, I think, helped him a lot. I mean, there's a few things I think he can improve, but overall, I think he was. For us, he was our best defenseman, one of our best defensemen, and every night, and he was very consistent. And even on the end, he got called up for 1 or 2 games. I think he did a great job. So again, I think the Kings needed something else, more like a Mo, not like a Jonesy, but. I was happy that he was with us because we needed him. And I think overall it was good for him just to have a full season or mostly a full season, playing a lot of minutes, every position. And I think it's just going to help him moving forward.
My memory could be wrong, but my recollection is that when he was playing with LA early in the season, he was paired with Clark for at least a few games. And even though he's not as physically imposing as Joel Edmondson, right? Obviously, Edmondson's 6'5", like he's a huge dude, and Jones is, I think, 6'1". But my memory is that he stepped in and really just kind of filled the role, and that was a pretty solid pairing. And Brant Clark, is probably not an easy guy to play D with because he's so unpredictable. But
Yeah.
my memory is that Jones did a really good job.
No, he did. And, don't forget those two are, I think Clarkey has more offense, but Jonesy likes to join the rush too. So they're really a little bit similar to certain things. But what also I have to tell you though, you got to think as a player, and Jonesy even told me that too, and I didn't know either that he came from a Colorado organization where everything is based off offense, right? So they just wanted him to go, and our DNA, the LA DNA, it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I give him a lot of credit too because he came in training camp. It usually takes a while because it must be a culture shock, right? Because we're totally the opposite. And again, but it took him a little bit, but overall, he was really good, and I was really happy to have him.
You can feel free to not answer this question if you want, but the way you phrased that last thing made me think. There was an interview with Todd McClellan after last season, after he had been released by the Kings. And I think it was in the offseason. I think he was talking to Cam and Strick on their show. And they were talking about Pierre-Luc Dubois. And he mentioned that, he was talking about how LA focuses on defense. And he was just talking about the different, orientation, the way you were just talking about the difference between Colorado and LA. But he made it really clear to say they, right? He talked about LA as if the Kings were a separate entity from him, which I interpreted as meaning when he was the head coach here, he was adapting his style to the organization's philosophy, not that he was part of shaping it.
Yeah.
So now we have a different general manager. We have a different head coach than we did at the beginning of 2 seasons ago. Where does that direction come from? Like, who is making that decision that this is the identity of the club?
I mean, just looking at the Kings, remember when they won the cup? So they won it because playing good defense. They didn't need the power play, right? They need the PK, they need the 5-on-5, and they were okay to win 1-0 games, no problem. And I think that alone, it kind of stuck with them for a long, long time, and they believed in that. Right. And then Todd came in, he opened things up a little bit. But again, when you play that way, for decades, it's in your body. And if you look at the Kopitar and these guys, right, the Dowdy, they didn't know anything different, basically. And now, in today's game, things will open up a little bit. And now I think they got out of it. Are we? I mean, everyone is different, right? Coaches do. Do I personally like the way Colorado plays offensively? Just having that mindset? Probably not, right? But everyone thinks a little bit different. I think we can always meet in the middle, and I think we tried as an organization to get more offense out of it, right? And I think we got out of this. We still played really good, and we take a lot of pride on playing good defense, but I think our offense now, our power play, we take way more pride in that, and because we know we need to score more goals and create more offense. So I think we're in a good phase, I would say. I think personnel, like players, also help. Right, when you get a guy like Fiala. We'll even look at Kempe now. He's a superstar now. So those kind of guys, Byfield, these guys help to drive that offensive bus, right? And those guys you need to score more goals.
Let's switch to forwards real quick. And at the start of the season, we're going to talk about Andre Lee in a second, but I'm just going to mention him first as a lead into the first player I want to talk about. When the season started, Andre Lee was on the Kings roster, but shortly after that, Sammy Helenius got called up. And I remember saying to, I think it was Zach Dooley or somebody, I said, if Sammy Helenius plays well in the next couple games, do we ever see him go back to Ontario? Like, is this just the start of the Sammy Helenius NHL career? And he did wind up going back to Ontario for a little bit, but then he came back later in the year. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just in love with how big he is because, my God, he's huge. But I mean, I just want him to be good. I want him to be a great NHL player, and I refuse to believe that he's 6'6". He's 6'8" if he's an inch. I mean, the guy is. I've never had to look up so consistently when I talk to somebody. What can you talk about the progress and the evolution of Samuel Helenius?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I was very, very surprised too but I give those, especially those two, Lee and Helenius, a lot of credit because they had a good summer, and the way they presented themselves, like in training camp, I'm like, oh my God, they really took a step forward, and again, both end up, playing with the Kings for a reason. All right. And they played well enough. They played good enough. And sometimes you also need to be lucky. And I think, the way Jimmy thinks about a fourth liner, and Smitty, especially those two, um, they want size. They want a guy who win faceoffs. They want guys who finish checks. I mean, you just said it, with his size, and he actually brought everything what they wanted on the table. So again, there's still a lot of growth in him. But yeah, I was actually very surprised too that he made it right away. But again, there's still, for me, he's still not a baby, but I call him because I
Yeah.
just know him.
I mean,
But
he's
he's still
22 or
so
something.
young.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a kid.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot for him to learn and also to grow and get better. But he definitely um, had a great season, more than everyone thought, and that was nice to see because on top of it, he is a good teammate. I'm gonna tell you, like this guy will do anything. He will fight for you. He will cheer you on, even if he plays 1 minute. He is always the guys love him. The coaches love him. So again, great kid, and I can't wait for him, to grow even more in the future.
There was a play in the playoffs. I don't remember what game it was. I think it might have been game 4 or 5. And Helenius smashed an Oiler into the boards, and it probably should have been a call. It wasn't. And I just remember thinking, like, oh, well, I guess we can't complain about the officiating too much because we got away with one right there.
Yeah.
He definitely has an edge to his game. But could he benefit from being even a little bit more unhinged?
Yeah, I mean, again, this kid just wanted to make the team, and he knew exactly what it takes to play every night, right? And for him is like I said, for him was probably winning faceoffs and finish checks and just don't make any mistakes, right? That's just normal as a young kid. Again, when I say about there's a lot of growth in him, I think everything with the puck, I would say. I think that's something he needs to get better at. I don't think he's just a dump and chase guy. I think he's a guy who has actually good hands, who actually can make good plays. But again, in a fourth line in the NHL, it's not as easy, right? So that's why I wish sometimes that he could play a little bit more with us because he would have the chance to play more minutes and feel the puck a little bit more, right? That just would help in growing as a hockey player.
The role that a guy plays can pretty easily influence how quickly fans warm up to them. And if you're a fourth line guy, it's pretty easy to fall in love with them because all you have to do is come out and look like you're trying hard. And Jeff Malott was a player that I think most Kings fans probably never heard of before this season, and maybe even halfway through the season. If if you told them, yeah, Jeff Malott's going to be in all 6 games in the playoffs and you're going to love him, they'd go like, who's
Yeah.
Jeff Malott? He comes up and, doesn't score a goal, has one incredible effort that should have counted and was taken off the board. But I mean, he played over 60 games for you. He was a big part of your team's offense.
Yes.
And then is called up to LA to play, you know, a fourth line support role. What do Kings fans need to know? Like, does Jeff Malott have a spot in the NHL now, or do you anticipate that he'll be another tweener again?
Yeah, no, I mean, I really don't think I'm going to see him with the Reign next year. I really believe so, because I know a coaching staff likes him. He brings a lot of energy. He finishes checks. He will give you every shift, every second he's on the ice. He will give you everything he has. And on top of it, he will fight. He will do just like Sammy a little bit. He will do anything for his teammates. And he's a good guy to have around. Again, for us, in the past, since I'm with the Kings, actually, the last 6-7 years, I'm going back a little bit more, where we've drafted a lot of kids and a lot of good players, but we also drafted a lot of skill, right? I feel like we always had trouble going, to the paint, to the net front, to the inner slot, to all those areas, because we just had too much skill, right? And he's the guy who kind of changed everything, our mindset. Why personally I like to change that last season, and we did. But he was the biggest reason why it happened, because he was a guy maybe not as skilled, but he was going in there regardless, right? And that's why now that's why he scores every year in the minors 20 plus goals, because he goes in there and he goes hard. He does everything with a purpose, and he's not shy of everything. So again, that was a big part of our offense this year, just because of that reason. And on top of it, he was a great teammate. Guys really liked him too. He was very intense, very professional. And again, I really don't see him coming back next year.
Now, this last player, I know you didn't have a ton of opportunity to see him, and we've already talked to Bill Ranford about his progress and his success, but I'm just so high on this kid. I just wanted to hear you say some nice things about Carter George.
See, I'm laughing already.
Yeah.
No, Georgie, it was everything he did in practice, and especially his 2 games, didn't really surprise me at all. I really didn't, because I met him, I saw him, at camp, rookie camp, so I knew how good he was, and I remember after his first game in San Jose, after 5 minutes, I knew already we will be fine. It will be fine, because that's what he gives you. Like, he gives you, as a coach, or even, the players in front of me on the bench, he gives you that feel, I got this. All right. I got this. And the way he calms things down at his early age was incredible. Again, he's very strong mentally. Nothing really bothers him. He's a good kid. Again, I think this is a kid I can't wait, and hopefully a lot of the Kings fans too, and even our organization too. We can't wait to have him with us every day, and to see him grow, and because he could be a really, really good one, and it was really nice to see.
I love to hear it. Marco Sturm, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Stay healthy.